Hello and welcome to another update video about XRP. In yesterday's video, we also covered the long-term chart. So if you're interested in a little bit more context, feel free to check out yesterday's video, the last video about XRP. I also discussed a bullish and bearish overall scenario. Currently, we have a corrective wave down, pretty much complete or nearly complete. I'm currently counting that as a very complex type of correction, W, X, Y, X, Z. They normally don't exist, so it might turn into something else, but we have certainly a very complex form of a correction, and it looks like it's not quite finished yet. This year, even though it was bought up quite quickly at 43 cents here around the previous support areas, if we add volume to the chart, you see that this was quite a volume spike down here, where price did sit on, starting around 43.1 cents here. Not massive, not as big as it's down here around 37, but compared to the insufficiency we had here, in this region between 43 and 46, this was the next small volume spike where you had liquidity, and that acted as a little bit of support. Now, do we have this correction complete? It could be, but I haven't got any reliable information at this stage. We had a few guides or tools that helped us determine if we go any lower or not over the recent weeks, and I've been sharing with you these trend lines here, and the message has been that unless we get a break above the trend line, we haven't got a reliable signal for a turn to the upside. So naturally, focus on lower short term. And trend lines can be a great pullback trade setup, for example. I mean, again, I can only provide the analysis. There are tons of different ways how you can trade, tons of different setups. Using trend lines as pullback trades can work nicely. In this case, it would have generated nice short trades, for example. Especially here, these pullbacks to trend lines can be something to consider, but it's more like a short-term thing. So looking at this structure here in this Z wave, we have a very extended C wave within an ABC structure, but the C wave can still get another low. So obviously, if I go to the 1 hour chart, we know that a C wave is basically a 5-wave move. Now, due to the distortions we had, this is a little bit messy to count, but we could argue that we've seen here, let me just put that onto the chart. Where do we have our wave patterns here? We could argue that we had a wave 1 as a leading diagonal, a wave 2, all of this could have been a third wave. Now basically in a wave 4, maybe even as some kind of a weird triangle. Maybe it will get something more complex and then one more wave down. How reliable is this? I think it's questionable, a micro count like that, due to the distortions we had, and you don't really need that micro count to understand that basically we have a corrective structure, complete or nearly complete. However, since then it hasn't really provided us with anything impulsive. I would use the trend line again. So at the moment, as long as we stay below that trend line, I think we have a good case to make that we will head down lower. Looking at a first signal in terms of Fibonacci retracements to understand when we turn back to the upside, well, what we can do is I would take the height of the X wave, the top of the X wave, go lower, and I would use the 52.5 cent level. That's the 50% retracement level of the decline. Where the price pulls above that level, pulls back above that level, it would be a first signal as well that the trend might be shifting to the upside, even though it would need a bit more price data to really establish what this is. And a break of the trend line might be helpful as well. At the moment, it just seems to be consolidating, probably will continue to do so over the weekend. Maybe we'll move sideways for a bit, maybe try again to hit the trend line. But again, it would take really a break above the trend line to unlock upside potential. And then I think if we extend this trend line, because it has respected it so well, you will likely see some kind of a reaction here as well. The next wave up in an ideal world would be a C wave higher. But I explained all of that in yesterday's video, how that fits in. ultimately, what we would be looking for is a 5-wave move up next. But just be aware that XRP is just moving in 3-wave structures, so it could just be part of a larger corrective structure. We are now deeply oversold. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Yeah, still oversold on the 4-hour chart. On the daily chart, still oversold. So I would expect possibly next week, because a lot of coins are oversold, a lot of stocks are oversold as well, we could see a bit of a rebound and a rally, but be aware of the trend lines. And then there are important levels to take out, like all those previous swing highs. Like here, the X-wave high is going to be micro resistance around 64 cents. Then the B-wave high, I think that was a triangle here which unfolded around 70.7. A very important high is going to be 85 cents and then 95 if we ever get there again. Yeah, but as you can see, we are still moving. Let's go to the daily chart. We're still moving in this overall triangle. And it can really be that we're moving just up and down here. Within triangles, it's very hard to determine where we are generally. If this really is an Elliott Wave triangle, then also we need to be aware that there could be much more choppy price action. So for example, this here was a WXY structure to the upside. 1 second, WXY. In the more bullish interpretation, I've got that as an A wave, with this being the B wave and the C wave to come. Or in a triangle scenario, of course, it could be WXY, here correction down, another ABC or WXY higher, and then hitting the trend line again, and then we could just move further. So yeah, it is generally a very, very sideways oriented chart, so not really trending, and that's the problem. Yeah, most people, I would argue, are interested in trending coins, trending assets. XRP, unfortunately, what it not only what it used to do, what it's doing, it can rally very aggressively, but then it's losing it all again. Even though it's generally holding within this triangle pattern, so it's not like crashing to zero, but it's not in a very good shape. Okay, not in a very good shape. Overall, also important to understand the relevant Fibonacci levels. Highlighted that one yesterday, that as long as we're holding here, let me just determine the correct one. Yeah, as long as we're holding 37 cents, technically I would expect further upside. Below 37, we would also break below the triangle trend line. This would be quite bearish. Okay, so short-term upside possible and expected as long as we're holding above 37 cents. That is also the point of control if we look at the volume. Below that level, support would seriously decline, and we would also break below that 78.6 Fib level. So we're losing a lot of the bullish support levels if we break below 37 cents. Just, recommendation here just to act here with caution generally. We have not really a trend. We can identify trend lines. Yes, we can identify relevant support levels, but in terms of really a long-term uptrend, it's difficult because this could just continue to chop sideways due to those 3-wave structures. Okay, that's my update about XRP. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.